Okay, let me open up the presentation. Okay, you guys ready? Ah! I also changed the background, you guys. I changed a few different things here. Ooh, pretty cool, huh? Wow, look at this. So, okay, yay. Yay. Thank you all so much for attending my Tinder reviews, my Tinder tips and tricks to get you more matches and get you more swipes and everything. So I have worked very, very hard on this. So please take notes. Please take notes. Please pay attention, you guys. I've put a lot of time and energy into this, and I would love for you guys to at least take something away from this. So today we're going to be talking about understanding and discovering different motivations behind using Tinder, understanding your audience, optimizing pictures, building a bio. What I personally think the biggest secret to getting more swipes is sliding into the DMs and how to properly slide into the DMs. Question, will this be on the exam? Yes, there will be an exam. I'm just kidding. There will be an exam. There will be an exam about grubs. Okay, this is what we're going to be focusing on today. So let's dive right in. Very first thing, Tinder has so many different uses for it, and it's really important to know exactly why you're using this app. So it's really important to know exactly what it is that, you know, you're looking for. Like hookups, you know, if you're looking for a hookup, you want a very short bio, some shirtless pictures, you're good to go, you know? But if you want like a real like relationship or just to make connections or just for dates, then you'll really want to spend a lot more time like actually really invested into building out your profile to be the best that it can be. So before we dive into the profile aspect, we first need to identify your audience. And this is where my marketing degree comes in. The very first thing that we need to do is identifying our audience. Now, let me ask you guys, what exactly is a target audience? Or an audience. Target audience is what we call it in marketing. It's a group you're trying to locate and make a sale, etc. Exactly, Mr. Chosen Legacy. That's correct. That's exactly what a target audience is. So in this context, in the context of Tinder, your target audience are the people who you want to go on a date with. It's your type, okay? Type. So everyone has a different type, whether it's dating people who are like really outdoorsy or going to the movies, like partying or reading books. Obviously, not every single person on Tinder or whatever dating site that you're using is going to be a perfect fit for you. And so that's why it's really important to know what you're looking for. This first step in identifying what your perfect match is, which is basically your type. So if you go and you're like, okay, well, what is my type? Well, it's basically what your ultimate perfect match would be. So the very first step is identifying what that perfect match is. This is my Red Dead reference. Do you guys like it? I hope that you guys like it. Arthur. Thank you, Ika. Thank you. So if you had to create an absolute perfect match, like a perfect bio for what you're attracted to, what would they be like? What kinds of things would they enjoy? What kind of activities or hobbies might they have? Here on the side, we have an example of someone's perfect match. Someone like me. With this perfect match, for example, their name is Arthur. Wow, they look so handsome. They are so handsome. Look at them. And down here in the tags, we can see the different things that he's interested in. This like quote unquote perfect match is really interested in like art and is interested in traveling places, writing, things like that. And then, you know, he's got some really good lines here, like taking a gamble that love exists, being loyal to what matters. Okay, great. Here he says that he loves baths, trips to the barber, and drinking with his pal Lenny. And then if we match, you can meet my horse Cowbell. Wow, that's great that he's, you know, really into animals. And so it's really important to identify exactly what your perfect match would be and think about what kinds of hobbies would they be interested. And you really want those hobbies to be kind of in line with what your hobbies or what your interests might be. So the next step after identifying what your perfect match is is identifying the level of compatibility between you and this perfect match, right? So if your perfect match is super outdoorsy, then you're probably going to be an outdoorsy person as well. This is also very, very important in setting expectations, right? So if you're the kind of person who's like, my perfect match is a 10 out of 10 girl. She reads all the time. She's got a 4.0 GPA. She's, you know, very studious. She doesn't get involved with drinking or drugs or anything like that. And she has no tattoos, you know, like that's like your perfect match. But then you yourself are the kind of person who, you know, maybe isn't ambitious or like stays home alone all the time or like has a lot of tattoos or like, you know, doesn't care about reading books, doesn't have any interest in literacy, then you're probably not going to have a really good like companion. You want to make sure that you're setting up the correct expectations for yourself. So you need to make sure that, you know, that your expectations for what your perfect match is are very much in line with who you are as a person as well. The very first step that in understanding like how to attract those kinds of people that we want to be with, we need to identify how those guys use Tinder. Studies have shown that that the way that males use Tinder, they first look at all of the pictures. They look through all of the pictures first, and then they go in to read the bio. Men will also swipe right on significantly more profiles than women do. They'll just literally sit there and like, yep, she's pretty. Yep, she's pretty. Yep, she's pretty. And they'll just swipe like right, like 100 times a day. That's how guys use Tinder. That's just how they do it. Women instead are much more selective in their process. They first look at the picture. They look at the very first picture, which is the profile picture. That's called the profile picture. And then they read the bio, and then they continue swiping through the rest of the photos. So identifying exactly, like knowing exactly how these users use Tinder is going to be so incredibly helpful, because this is going to show you exactly how to lay out your own profile and set priority on which part of your profile you should focus more on first. That's why women are able to be more selective versus men being desperate. I think it does kind of feed into that a little bit as well, where after a while men are like, I just want to match. I just want to match. I want any sort of match. And so then they swipe on any single girl that they come across, just hoping for a single match. When in reality, what they need to do instead is kind of just like take a step back, look at their own profile and work on improving their profile, which is exactly what, you know, like what women are looking at. They're looking at their profile. Like they're not matching at you because they don't like your profile. So if you can improve your profile to be the absolute best that it can possibly be, then you're going to get matches, you know, then you're going to have a significantly higher chance of getting matches. Yes. Bear in mind, for anyone who doesn't match the description of male and female, these are just trends, tons of exceptions. Absolutely, Moosey. That's very, very correct. Thank you. Now moving on to actually connecting with your audience. Some people can swipe up to 100 profiles a day. I actually don't know how much it is. It's just a lot of profiles. 100 was what I read online. After a while, all of the profiles start to blend together. You know, like if you're sitting there and you're seeing, like you're swiping through so many different profiles day after day after day, you are not going to remember what the profile 5 swipes ago looked like. You're just not. If you're sitting there, you're like, okay, that's a cool profile swipe. Okay, that's a cool profile swipe. You're like, the second another profile comes into your mind, you're gonna completely forget about what that profile is. So it's really, really, really important for users to really remember your profile. You want to stand out in the good way. You want to stand out in a very positive, good way so that people can actually remember your profile. In order for users to really remember your profile, it's important that they spend as much time on your profile as possible. Well, not as possible. Little asterisk. Yes, this is branding. This is literally branding 101. I have a marketing degree. I am literally telling you guys my marketing degree. If someone sees your first profile and they do not like your picture, they're just gonna swipe left. They're like, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Move on to the next profile, right? But if something on your first picture like catches their eye. You know, maybe they really like your smile, or maybe they really like your, I don't know, your eyebrows. I don't know, whatever it is, catches their attention, and then they go check out your bio, then suddenly now they're spending, instead of 1 second on your bio, they're now spending 10 seconds on your profile, reading the bio, looking through everything. And then if they like the thing that they see in the bio section, then they're gonna start looking at the rest of the pictures, which, you know, then can add up another, like, you know, 10 seconds, you know? So instead of someone spending just 5 seconds on your profile, now they're gonna be spending upwards to, you know, 30 seconds, 45 seconds even on your profile. And the more time that they spend on your profile gives you a better chance at actually having a match. Here is the caveat to that. You do not want someone to spend so much time on your profile because they're reading so much stuff. Okay, so you don't want to go to your bio and you don't want to have like a giant 10 paragraph long essay. You want to have like, you know, just like a nice little short blurb about who you are, about things like that. And you don't want it to be like, you know, this like giant life story kind of thing, because people are going to see that and be like, wow, I'm not reading all of that. And then they're doing the exact opposite of what you want them to do. So over here on the side, this is actually what my Tinder profile looks like. The part that I really want you guys to notice is what's highlighted here. It says the last picture is me as the hash slinging slasher. So on my profile, this is the very last picture on my profile, and it's me dressed up as the hash slinging slasher from SpongeBob. So this is great because the bio gives it a hook. So this gives it a hook. So if they're reading through this, they're like, oh, that's really cool. I want to see what she looks like as the hash slinging slasher. They're going to have to swipe through every single picture on my profile in order to get to this very last picture here, right? And so then by that time, they're spending every single swipe that they spend, they're spending more time on my profile, and they're seeing more pictures of me. That way I'm able to get a higher chance of a match with that person. I also want to note that the biggest challenge that Tinder possesses, a lot of you guys were talking about this earlier today, is that everything on Tinder can very, very easily be seen and portrayed as shallow and superficial. This is a really big challenge of Tinder, is that, you know, because like everything's seeming like shallow and superficial at first, but you have to really find that way and be creative on how you are able to make yourself like come across through what, like 8 pictures and a bio. And that's a very, very hard task to do. But if you do it and you know how to do it very well, then you'll be very, very successful in doing that. So now that we have identified who our audience is and begun the basics of how to connect with them, let's dive into more about building out the actual profile. Starting with pictures! Yay! So pictures are a very crucial part of your bio. This is literally the first impression that someone is going to have of you. On these platforms, it's so important that you have really, really good pictures on your profile so that initial attraction that people can see towards you can actually exist. If you don't have really good pictures on your profile, there's not even going to be a chance for that initial attraction to even be there. So it's so important that you have very, very good pictures on your profile to set up this basis. So the very first picture that you see on your profile, this is called your profile picture. It's when you go to like message someone, this becomes like a little circle, and then that becomes your profile picture, right? So this is like literally the most important picture that you're gonna have on your profile. And it's so important because this is literally the first reaction. This is the first impression that someone will have of you. And you always want to make a very, very good first impression. I wanna mention this right now. With the first picture, you always want to show, I'm gonna go a little bit more in detail with this in just a little bit, but you always want to show a very clear picture of your face. You want to know exactly who you are. So like this picture, you can see exactly who I am. You can see, you know, there's my face, there's me, that's what I look like. I'm smiling, I'm laughing, I'm having a good time. This picture reflects who I am as a person. And that is so, so incredibly important. In addition to the first picture, selecting the right pictures is also incredibly important for your entire profile. Let me show you what I mean. These aren't pictures that I actually have on my Tinder profile. Mine are much better quality than these, but these are just examples. Music is a really big part of my life, you know, so I might have a picture of me and my oboe there. I also really, really like going to concerts, you know, so I'm gonna have a picture with me and my friends like at a concert, maybe even two, because I really like concerts, you know. But whatever it is, you want to make sure that you have a very clear like photo of your face, right? You want to like be like, this is who I am. You want to be able to see that and be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what she looks like. In each of the pictures that you post and share on your profile, you really want to like portray things that you're interested in. Because if your entire profile is literally just selfies of you from different camera angles, that doesn't like say anything about you, you know? It's not like anything of value. It's just like, okay, this is what you look like. That's it. That's all that you know about that person. Now that we've identified the kinds of pictures that you want to have and the importance of them, let's talk about how to take good pictures. Taking pictures 101. Guys, this is probably gonna be my favorite part of the presentation. This is my favorite part. If there is something that I want you guys to take away from this presentation, it's how to take a good picture. Please, please, please. This whole section of the presentation is going to be helpful for literally any single picture that you take, not even just Tinder, but every single picture. With any sort of picture, you want to show off what your best features are. Often people will say, you know, like, oh, this is my good side. And then they'll like post the camera and be like, ee. Or they'll be like, oh, this is my good side. You know, like people will say that kind of stuff. And that's because that side of them is going to show off what their personal favorite features they think are best. For all of you out there who are like, oh, I don't have any good facial features. I don't have any best facial features. Trust me, you do. Everyone has a good facial feature. Everyone does. Everyone has like a strongest facial feature, you know, whether it's like your eyes or your smile or maybe your jawline, maybe your eyebrows, your cheekbones, whatever it might be, you want to identify it and have your face pictures shine right on that best feature. So how do you identify what your best feature is on your face? Literally go to a mirror. Go into the bathroom. Bring the computer with you so I can instruct you. Go to the bathroom and stare at yourself in the mirror like how you do every morning. But this time, literally, like really look at your face. What parts of it are really good? If you just took that one body part and put it on another person, it would look really good no matter which human being is wearing it, right? Don't be too critical of yourself. This is such an easy thing to be way too critical of yourself for. Now, once you have identified what your best facial feature is, I'm gonna give you some tips on how to highlight that best facial feature. Are you ready? You guys literally can't find this anywhere else. Okay. This is the important part. Okay, this is important. This is so important. I'm gonna use a jaw for example, because a lot of guys really like their jaw lines. So I'm gonna do it. Okay. So highlighting your jaw. How do you do that? So there's a few things that you can do. The first thing that you want to do. So I have my old iPhone here to be like the camera that you guys are gonna be working with, right? So if this is the camera, right, you don't want to look straight onto the camera, because what it does for girls, this is fine because girls usually like to have a softer, more gentle jawline than like guys do. Guys want a really defined jawline. So what you want to do is you want to turn your head away from the camera very slightly, take the bottom part of your jaw, this part right here, and lift it towards the camera. And so you're going from here to turn to lift. So you just want to lift it just slightly. So you can see right here is by doing that, by lifting your jaw upwards, it actually casts a shadow down on your neck. And so what that does is it creates a dark line right here along your jawline. And so that makes your jawline significantly more defined. So things like that, you just want to play around with how to highlight whatever it is that your favorite facial feature is, and you want that to be the focal point of your picture in the way that you frame it, in the way that, like, you know, it's pointing towards the camera, things like that. So next, after identifying, like, you know, how to show off your best facial features, Next, you want to make sure that you're showing your face completely clearly. Like your face should be clear. It's the main part of the picture, right? So take off any sunglasses that you have, take off any masks. You don't want to have super, super far away pictures. Like, you know, sometimes people will go rock climbing. Sometimes people will go hiking and they'll get to the top of the mountain. They're like, I made it. Look at this beautiful scenery. And the picture is shot to take in the scenery around them rather than take in the actual subject. But on Tinder, even though that's a really cool picture, on Tinder, you're wanting to know that person, right? So you want to have like something that's much closer picture. So you want to actually be able to see them rather than a picture of them, you know, 50 feet away. You obviously want a picture with a medical grade mask these days. No, I still very strongly recommend having like no masks, having no sunglasses, have nothing like a hat. Like you don't want to have anything that like obstructs your face. Get the hair out of your face and get the hair out of your face. They want to see your face. The next thing that you need to be aware of is lighting. So let me show you an example. Lighting is the most important part of any picture. With pictures specifically, this is the most important thing that I want you to take away from this. If you take away anything from this whole thing, it's that lighting is the most important thing for pictures. So like take this gift for example, right? This is a, you can see it in her pupils, but it's a light and it's going around in circles to show you how different shadows can affect the way that a face looks, right? So like in some shots, like if you pause it, she looks like super, super pretty. And other shots, if you pause it, like she can look like really evil and sinister. And so lighting is so incredibly important. And this is true of any single picture. It's true of streaming. It's true of any single time you're on camera or in front of a camera or anything like that. What you don't want to do is you don't want to have the light be from underneath your face shining upward, because very similarly when the light here is shining at the bottom down here, it casts a shadow upwards on her face up here, and it makes it look very like daunting, very like scary, intimidating. And so the best way for lighting to be reflective on your face is for it to be at eye level or slightly above eye level. That's really, really where you ideally want your lights to be. So for example, like the sun. A lot of people will go outside and they're like, oh, the sun has great lighting. There's so much light outside. You have to be very careful when you're taking pictures outside. Sometimes when the sun is shining down, especially if it's like high noon or something, it's gonna cast a very strong shadow on your face. And so you're actually not really gonna be able to see your face at all. I actually really, really like taking pictures during overcast weather. That's my favorite time to take pictures. If you don't know like anything about lighting, but it's overcast, go take pictures when it's overcast, because what happens is the sun provides enough light to light up your entire face, but the clouds actually dilute and spread out the sun's rays, so it lights up your entire face rather than just a harsh shadow casting downwards on your face. So these are some pictures that I've taken. Clearly they're of myself. These are all pictures of myself that should be really cute pictures, but are actually really, really bad pictures. Let me show you what I mean. So the very, very first picture, it's a really cool picture. I took this picture to show off my SpongeBob shoes because I really like SpongeBob, and it's a really cool picture. Like the idea is there and everything, but the problem with this is that I took this picture at noon. So you can see the shadows, like you can see how the shadows line up here on the ground, but more importantly, you can see how the shadows like line across my face. I actually had to wear sunglasses because it was too bright outside for me. Another thing that I really want to talk about is fluorescent lighting. Fluorescent lighting is like the bane of every photographer's existence. Fluorescent lighting, similarly to the sun, what fluorescents do is they want to produce a lot of light. Their whole thing is a lot of light. That's why you have fluorescents in like classrooms, in hospitals. There's just like a lot of light. Here you go. But it's horrible for pictures. As a perfect example in this one here. In this one here, the fluorescents are shining down so harshly on our faces. It's not a soft light. It's a very harsh indoor light. And so it's causing like all these shadows like on on my face especially, you see how it's really only lighting up my friend's face here? And so like on mine, it's really really dark. And that's what you don't want. You absolutely do not want that. After lighting, the next most important part is camera angles. Camera angles are, oh my God, they're right up there. They are right up there. You can change so much about how you look in pictures just based off of your camera angles alone. I see so many pictures that look like they were taken straight from the DMV. Like you literally went to the DMV, they took your picture for your license, for your driver's license, and then you're like, yeah, I'll just use that on my Tinder profiles. Please stop doing that. Please stop doing that. There's like this idea that like girls love guys who are just like doing like a smolder. They just like stare intensely at the camera. They stare intensely at the camera and then they don't smile. They look all brooding or whatever. Don't do this. Girls do not like it. You look like a creep. You look terrible. Don't do it. Don't just stare at the camera. Like so many pictures can be so drastically improved with a different camera angle. So here we have a great example, right? So this first picture, right? You can see my green screen again. This first picture here, you know, it's way off to the side. I actually took this picture when the camera was like about here. I took the camera here. And then the second one, the camera was like over here. And then the third one, it's more over this way. And then the fourth one is actually me getting comfortable with that angle and then smiling a little bit more with it. When you take a picture straight on, it looks very two-dimensional. I wanted to post a picture of me doing that here, but it looked too weird. And so I took it off. See, so like even this final picture over here, at first glance, it looks two-dimensional because it's a straight-on picture. But if you look at my chin, actually, it's turned very slightly. See, my face is still turned very, very slightly. It had a little bit of a head tilt. So it's still not two-dimensional. So having a two-dimensional picture can make your face look very flat. It makes the whole image look very flat. So instead, let's go from flat to flattering. Okay, I thought that was a good one. So when you're taking pictures, you want to play around with the angle. You want to play around with the angle that you're taking the pictures at, right? So I showed you guys all those really cool tips on how to accentuate all of your really good features. And now that we know how to deal with lighting, the next thing you want to do is play around with the camera angles. What I personally really like to do, I hold the camera like out a little bit so it's eye level. So literally, if it comes straight to my eye, it's at my eye's level, right? If you hold it lower, then you have a higher chance that shadows are going to be cast down on your face. And we don't want that. We don't want that. So you want it to be at eye level. And then what I do is I actually lift it up very, very slightly. So what that does by lifting it up very slightly is that makes my chin lift a little bit. And when you have your chin lift up, it actually thins out your neck. So it makes your neck look a little bit thinner. It thins out your double chin if you have a double chin. Also by doing that, by having the camera slightly higher. Now, I'm not talking like, you know, up here where you're like, MySpace days. I'm talking like, you know, like very slightly, like probably like here, if you guys can see that. And so then what that also does is that allows more light onto my face. And so when you have more light coming onto your face, you have less shadows dancing across your face. It brightens up your face significantly more, and it gives you like a higher, you know, it gives you like, you know, much more like radiance kind of thing. Now, how to smile. Oh, how to smile. This was probably my favorite one to create. Smiling. There are so many pictures that I see on Tinder that I come across profiles of people looking just so deadpan. They're just like, because they think that that's like, they're like, I look cool. Here's a picture of me. Okay, posting it on Tinder. Okay. They look so dead inside. There's no excitement. There's no life to them. You'll also notice a lot of people in their pictures that they try to take, they're trying to smile, but they're actually not quite accomplishing a smile. So you'll see someone and they'll be like, all right, time to smile. And they'll do this. They'll do this. Ready? It's technically a smile, but it doesn't look like a smile, right? There's a difference between this, right? And this. There's such a difference. You guys can tell the difference right now when I'm doing it. It's the same thing for everyone here. Oh, first tip that you can do is look at the camera. You can actually look at the camera. So when people are taking selfies, they have a tendency to look at the screen rather than the actual camera. So they'll look at the screen, they're like, do I look okay? Okay, I look okay. And then they'll literally look down at the button and press it. But you can always tell when someone's not looking at the camera. So it's like, if I went like this, compared to if I'm looking at the camera, I'm like, huge difference. You guys can see the huge difference, right? So the very first thing that you need to do is actually look at the camera when you're taking the picture. Look at the camera. Second tip, if you are taking a picture, for iPhones, I know that this is true. Androids, I'm pretty sure that this is true as well. When you are taking a picture, use the back camera. Do not use the front camera. Use the back camera. Why do you do this? The back camera is significantly better than the front camera. Significantly better. So when you're taking a picture with the front camera, it's a very okay camera. But if you turn it around and you like take the picture this way, right? You're like, yay, smile, and you take the picture, right? It's gonna be such a better picture. It's gonna be such a better quality. It's gonna be such a better frame. And then you can take like a whole bunch to make sure that you like get the frame right? But for right now, if you're just learning how to take pictures, it's okay if you use the front camera. That's a more like professional kind of tip. I have an exercise that I want everyone here to do that's literally gonna teach you how to smile. While you're in your bathrooms, right? You're in your bathrooms, you're identifying your favorite facial features. After you're done doing that, I want you to stand there, look in the mirror, and I want you to laugh. Now, I don't mean ha 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 ha. I mean like full on laugh, full on force yourself to laugh. Like, be like, ha ha ha. Literally, okay, literally just stand there and just like start laughing and just start like laughing as hard as you can, as hard as you can. Force yourself to laugh as hard as you can. And when you're truly and genuinely laughing, look in the mirror. See how your face is engaged. See how like what muscles are engaged. How your face looks when you're genuinely laughing. Take that image and imprint it into your brain. Imprint it into your brain exactly how you look when you're genuinely laughing. Like, I just happened to snap this picture when I was genuinely laughing. I look a little angry. There's some tears in my eyes. That's how I look when I'm genuinely laughing. I want you to specifically look at the wrinkles around your eyes, right? When people smile and when people laugh, they get wrinkles around their eyes. Their eyes start to squint a little bit and they get like these wrinkles around their eyes. What I want you to do is, after you're done laughing and after you're done assessing what you look like when you laugh, is I want you to try to recreate that exact same look, but without laughing. After practicing this for long enough, you're going to be able to just do it on command. And so you'll just be able to like look at a camera and be like, oh, here we go. And you see, like, I can just do it on command. You know, my eyes can squint up, I can smile easily. Other really tiny things that you should be aware of, but not like the super main focus. If you don't get it, that's totally fine, is the contrast in color between what you're wearing and your background. For example, if you're wearing like a white shirt and you're standing up against like a white background, you're going to really, really blend in with your background. And you don't want that. You don't want to blend in. You really want to like have the contrast be really good. Next on this, we are going to talk about the do's and don'ts of mirror selfies. I personally am I personally am against mirror selfies on Tinder, because I think that there are so many better opportunities to take a picture rather than in your bathroom, right? Like, if you take a picture in your bathroom and there's like toothpaste splotches everywhere, that doesn't really like tell you anything about like who you are, you know? It doesn't show any of your interests. It doesn't show like anything like that. But if you must in your mirror selfie, do not cover your face with your phone. Don't stand there if that's the mirror, right? Don't stand there and go like this, right? Don't do that. Also, make sure that you are not too far away from the mirror. Like this one in the middle here, I would consider this, like, this is a good mirror selfie for like, I don't know, everyday kind of thing. But on Tinder, this is not a good mirror selfie. This is way too far away from the mirror. And so you can't actually really see what my face looks like. Lastly, I want to talk about what to do if you just can't take a good picture. The biggest thing is it's just gonna come from practice, right? You have to practice it. Try with different angles. Try actually smiling. Try all these different things. Everyone is beautiful. You just need to learn how to display that beauty. Now, after we have all of our pictures, we want to order them very specifically. You want to have a nice balance of pictures of just you or doing some things that you enjoy with pictures of your friends, maybe some family. You don't want to have a profile that's literally just like your picture, your picture, your picture, your picture. You know, like you want to like show that you have friends. You want to show that you have like, you know, a social life. You want to show like other people that are in your life. This is an order that I like to go for. The first few pictures that you have on your profile, they should be solo pictures. Absolutely, for sure, your first picture has to be a solo picture. If your first picture is a picture with you and your friends, the person is gonna see that and be like, I have no idea which one of these people this person is. They're gonna have absolutely no idea. And they're like, all right, I'm done with this. I don't wanna figure it out. I don't wanna investigate. So what you wanna do for the first like 2 or 3 pictures is you wanna have them be pictures of yourself. So what that does is it sets up like, this is what I look like. This is what I look like. And then by the time it gets later on in the profile, by the time it gets to a picture of you and your friends, they're able to very easily spot you within that lineup. Be like, oh, okay, great. Now I see. Now I see. And then going back to a picture of just you, maybe another picture with friends, things like that. So we have gotten through all of the pictures. Now we're moving on to building out a bio. It's so important that you match with people who have similar interests as you. And this is where you attract those people. Your bio should be a reflection of you. And personally, I like my bio to be a balance of seriousness mixed in with a little bit of humor as well. Humor is something that everyone can connect to. And so by having like a really funny bio, you're more likely to find those sorts of connections. You also want to make this section very unique, okay? If you see like a funny tweet or a funny Reddit post, you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna snag that. I'm gonna use that on my profile. Most likely people who are looking at your profile as well have already seen that post. So they're gonna like go through it and be like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. And they're like, it's gonna do more damage to you than good. They're gonna be like, all right, okay, that was cool. You know, it's not gonna be anything like exciting or interesting. It's not gonna bring like value. This is what my bio looks like. It says, my version of flirting is looking at someone that I find attractive and hoping they're braver than I am. This is a really great opener because it gives a nice little like hook and line. Be like, oh, it invites the other person to message me first because I'm not usually on Tinder. So it gives them a reason to message me. Then the second one, this one I literally just added in right before I took the screenshot. I was going to expand on this a little bit, but like saying that I'm brand new to video games and Undertale is my favorite so far. I was actually going to change this, but what I was going to change it to is the first line is going to say like, the sight of such a friendly profile fills you with determination. That's a reference to Undertale, and it's, you know, it's nice and wholesome. It's just like a cute little thing. And then I was gonna have everything else listed out. And then at the very end, I've got something like, you know, just very light, very funny. I do math equations for fun when I'm drunk, which I do. So, you know, it's a good balance of jokes with a little bit of seriousness. It's a good reflection of how I look at Tinder. Very jokey. Another thing that you really wanna do is you want to position your bio in more of a positive outlook. There are so many profiles that say things like not looking for hookups, or if you're anti-vax, swipe left, or over 6 foot because I guess that matters. And so it's fine to have preferences. Don't get me wrong. It's fine to have preferences. But instead of having like a list that rules people out, instead say what you're looking for. Instead be like, I'm looking into like building a meaningful connection, or the last picture is me being proud of my COVID vaccine. You know, like things like that where it's like it changes the outlook. Let me show you some examples of differences in like good and bad bios. Okay, cool. So we've got a column for bad bios, and now we've got a column for good bios. So bad bios first. These are real ones that I have quoted. These are real things that I saw. in Tinder bios. Don't tell me you looking for a vibe, dumb asses. I'ma unmatch you as soon as you let it slip. Now, why is that a bad bio? Because it's rude. It's so rude. It's like calling out people just for like existing. Super blunt and occasionally funny. I don't know if you want to advertise that you're a super blunt person. Usually super blunt people just don't really have a filter, and it does a lot of harm to people. And the excuse that they use is like, oh, I'm just a blunt person. When it's not really them being a blunt person, it's them not thinking before they speak and having empathy for other people's feelings. Self-depreciating humor. I know a lot of us resort to self-depreciating humor because it's easy. It's very easy humor. But what happens when you have self-depreciating humor, for people who don't know you, they're just gonna think that like you're really self-conscious, or they're gonna like, they're not gonna know what to think. They won't know if you're joking or if you're not joking, anything like that. And so by having some self-depreciating humor is okay. It's okay. It's okay. A little bit of it, but you don't want to have it be your entire profile. You don't want it to be like, this is my self-depreciating humor. This is who I am. Self-deprecating. Oh my God, it's self-deprecating. Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. Oh my God, self-deprecating. Oh geez. All right. So now for some good bio. So asking some questions to initiate convo in the DMs. So that's like the questions list that we were talking about earlier. If someone wants to link that again, please feel free to use any of these. Actively seeking a dog sitter. Please don't actually sit on dog. This was like, you know, they're like, oh, I love my puppy. You can meet them and all this stuff. And so like, they're like, oh, you can help me dog sit the dog if, you know, if we're a match. And then they had this little line there. And this was a really, really great line. You know, it's just like a nice little quip. I think the only bad thing about this line is I have seen it before. And so you really want to try to be as unique as you possibly can be. To me, a joke like the billboard one that doesn't say anything about you feels evasive and distracting. Yeah, I agree with that, General Snow. I very much agree with that. I think that like that kind of humor is really funny, but I think that like you can tweak it in a way to make it so that it is more about you and it gives value, which is the very last thing on this slide. Bring value. You want to absolutely bring value to your entire bio, to your entire profile, for a matter of fact. Everything on your profile needs to have some sort of value. If it's literally just, you know, the same selfie of you in like 4 different angles, that has no value to like the kind of person that you are. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the absolute biggest thing that you can do in order to get more match. What is that biggest thing? Be unique. You have to be unique. I know that I've mentioned it in pieces throughout this presentation that you have to be unique in order to get more matches, but this is so true. The number one way to get more matches on Tinder is to stand out. Having a unique profile is so much more than just having good pictures and having a good profile. With this, you have to have a little bit of creativity as well. There are different things that you can do to elevate your profile to the next level. At the very base, some things that you can do is like adding tags with your different interests. Another way to elevate your profile to the next level and truly become unique is by adding GIFs. You can actually now add GIFs to your pictures. So I have this GIF that I have right here. It's a GIF that I made. It's a graph of my level of funniness over time. It's one that I made. That's why I think it's very unique. So you want to be very careful about which tags you're putting on your profile. I know politics is really big thing. A lot of people can be really into politics, and I know that there is a tag for it on Tinder, but I would actually really recommend not using the politics tag just because there is so much controversy surrounding that kind of thing. And what we were talking about earlier, you really want to have a much more positive profile. Stay away from anything that's negative or anything that's like, you know, inherently controversial. Lastly, and most importantly, if you want your profile to stand out amongst the crowd, is absolutely crucial to do with this last one. And that is to have a thematic profile. Now, what does a thematic profile mean? It means that it's some sort of profile that has a common theme throughout it. So if there's something that you're like really, really into, turn your entire profile into it. Let me show you an example. There is a guy a few years ago, he made like national news for it. There is a guy a few years ago who made a thematic profile. He turned his profile into a PowerPoint presentation. So, you know, the first one, it's like, here's why you should swipe right. Here's my presentation. And then throughout the pictures, it goes on to tell you like things that he enjoys doing or like why you should swipe right on him. It truly gets to know him and his personality. There's so much that you can derive about the same guy from his personality and know so many things about him. You need to find some sort of way that you can identify that has this same lasting impression. You can like take any interest that you have and kind of make that a common theme for your entire profile. Now, don't overdo it, you know, don't overdo it. You can definitely overdo it, but have it be there like just enough to be like, this is something that I really care about. But then you can also use that as a medium to talk about other things that you care about. Basically, having a really, really well executed thematic profile can be a total showstopper. No one is doing this on Tinder right now. No one. Literally, you go on Tinder, all of the profiles are the same. All of the profiles are the same. So if you start doing this, I promise you, you will stand out more. And people will want to like see your profile and they will want to get to know the person with the creativity behind it all. They absolutely will. Great. So we have a match now. Now what do we do? Sliding into the DMs. All right. So on the opening line, please, please, please do not keep using the same line on every single person that you match with. Oh my God. It's like the cashiers when you go up to a cashier and then they're trying to scan something and then it's not scanning and then the customer is like, oh, it won't scan. I guess it's free. We've heard it before. It's no longer funny. We're just fake laughing at that point, okay? Maybe make some sort of pun or something, or even calling out something on their profile that interests you and that you can connect with. If you're worried about not having anything to talk about in the DMs, you can always add a question in your profile that gets the conversation going. When you're talking to matches, please, please, please do not be a nice guy. What is a nice guy? A nice guy is someone who compliments a girl in hopes of getting with them. But if the girl ends up not liking them for whatever reason, she's free not to, then they get really upset at the rejection and they take their anger out on the girl by calling the girl terrible names like a slut or a bitch and just horrible, horrible things. They're guys that, exactly, Liquor, they're guys that expect something in return. They have a sense of entitlement to them. And it is not okay. Do not be one of these guys. You are on Tinder to try to make connections. You want the person that you're with to like you back equally. And if someone rejects you for whatever reason it might be, then you're just like, it's Tinder. Swipe on the next person. Okay, swipe on the next person, you know? All right, you guys. Well, it is, oh, oops, that's the wrong button. That one. Well, it is that time of day where we are going to be wrapping up on the stream. Thank you guys all so much for joining me tonight. I hope that you guys learned something from my lessons. Take care, everyone. Have a good night, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.